Toby from Pixel Pop Network here, and today I'm joined with Vince from LynkSys, and we're going to be talking about a new range of products that LynkSys has brought to the market that is tailored a little more specifically to the gamer, I believe.
That's right, and what we're here launching here in Australia is the WRT32X gaming router.
Right, okay. So the obvious question I think most people are going to be probably asking, you've probably heard it a million times already, is what separates a gaming router from a router?
Well, typical consumer routers out there, the main thing they're worrying about is media consumption and streaming.
Okay.
That's not necessarily what the gamers are looking for. So what when we wanted to do and take a technology into the gaming space, we wanted to make sure we're providing the true solutions for online gaming.
Right.
And so that means gaming is first. And what we've done is created a whole new networking stack that is focused with making that gaming the top priority.
Okay, then. I mean, I've been in PC gaming for a long time. About 83, I think I started, a long time ago. But in my opinion, and let me just see if you agree, when we sort of started seeing gaming-related products, probably I'd sort of say maybe the mid-90s, late 90s, it was often just, some lights and things like that. And I think, and this is what I've sort of pictured, do you think it's fair to say that now that gamers are a lot more switched on in terms of they know what they want? It's not just about a fancy light or something ergonomic anymore. They really have greater demand on and more of a precise idea on what they want with game-related hardware and accessories?
Well, I think they know what they want, but they're not sure how to get there. And okay. I totally agree with you on that. And that was what we first found out when I started doing the research into the gaming market and in our pursuit of providing true solutions. And that's why I say true.
Yes.
I look around at other manufacturers, and what they were doing in their routers is basically taking the same networking stack that they put in their same consumer router. They changed the color of the antenna or maybe put a little different color on the LED and ship it out and call it a gaming router.
Yep.
LynkSys, being a technology-driven company, we weren't going to go down like that. Okay. If we're going to make a product and we're going to call it a gaming router, it's going to provide true solutions for the gaming community.
Excellent. That's really good. And another thing that sort of springs to mind for me, being a gamer, and usually I'm the one, when you're running a Minecraft server or you're running whatever sort of server it might be, there's always that one friend that sort of is a bit more switched on and has to do all the port forwarding and get everything set up so that the friends can join the server. And when I speak to a lot of my gaming friends, things like port forwarding are a problem for some of them if they're not quite as clued in. Is there things that sort of, with the new range, that make perhaps that a little bit easier for gamers, a bit more accessible?
Well, we made sure, like in the UI, that we made it so that you can get to those functionalities and be able to set up those porting very simply.
Right.
But actually, what we found out is more important is maintaining the ping times in the network of the home, especially with other people on the network. And the main thing that we found out is when there's a match or the guy is going to go and do an online session, he's basically running around the house telling everybody off the network, nobody stream, nobody whatnot. And that was the real pain point that we found out, not necessarily some of these more technical items. Okay. So what we've done is we've created a solution in conjunction with the makers of the killer networking technology that you find in MSI, Alienware, Razer, Gigabyte. I think Lenovo's using them now, and a lot more of these PC manufacturers are starting to embrace killer networking from the guys over at Rivet Networks.
Now this is the sort of packet priority, is it not? Where we're saying,
Absolutely.
hey, you're doing a game, you get priority.
Absolutely,
right?
And that's in my research in the gaming market, I said, well, who was doing networking well? Well, it's these guys doing the killer networking stuff. So then I'm like, well, they're doing the real thing. I want to do the real thing as well, and I have amazing hardware. And so it just so happened that they were actually looking for a partner to build a router.
Right, okay.
On the request of these PC manufacturers, because of the fact of the router becoming such an important element to online gameplay. Mm-hmm. And so we set forth together and partnered up to create the product to where now, with the killer control center that you find on these high-end gaming PCs, and now actually moving down to the mid-level, we're able to take and talk to that gaming PC, because we also have the killer prioritization engine inside of the router.
Okay.
And so the killer prioritization that we've put into the router on a brand new networking stack, so basically the networking stack was created fresh with being the vessel for the killer prioritization engine. Right. So now we're actually controlling both endpoints.
Wow. Okay, so previously, obviously, I mean, I have a new motherboard at home. Is my router currently a bit of a bottleneck then for this sort of technology. I mean,
that's right.
Yeah.
You know what's going on in the PC with the killer networking technology. They're handling the bandwidth contention inside the PC.
Right.
But what happens is that comes out, it goes to the router. You've got other people working on that work.
Of course.
Then all of that work that's been going on there somewhat gets kind of mushed back together. So
Right.
you lose some of those advantages that has been supplied by the killer. Now that we have both ends, we're able to see gaming packets coming from there and maybe downloads or whatever, and the prioritization set at the killer control center is maintained as it comes into the router, so that when girlfriend, roommate, family member starts streaming, it's setting the video at a lower priority. Doesn't kill it.
No.
It maintains it
Yep.
because it knows the different packet types. It knows gaming as small packets, move them fast.
Yes.
Video, bigger packet loads, give a
Okay.
little more space, but we can queue those up.
Yep.
Downloads, let's push those down to the lowest.
Absolutely.
Because Windows loves to throw that update thing out there at the worst time possible. So
Definitely a gamer. Definitely a gamer. Because you do that yourself. You're sitting there and you'll be playing a game. You're like, why is my latency terrible? Yeah, Windows is updating. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
So we're able to handle all of that now, and keep. One line I use is it's almost like the peacemaker, because now the wife, girlfriend, roommate can stream, do their thing. You can do your thing and maintain the low ping rights, because that's what kills the ping is when somebody else is on that home network doing something that.
Well, I think
that you
Australian
don't.
internet tends to kill the ping as well, unfortunately.
Well, I keep hearing about this interesting phenomenon called the NBN, but what actually leads to another point about what we're able to do, because of the technology is able to handle the bandwidth up and down.
Yes.
And what
Okay.
people don't really understand sometimes is that up is a lot smaller than the down. But that is your input to the gaming server.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, being able to manage both sides of this, we're able to maintain so that when in a first-person shooter, you pull the trigger, that packet is getting right to the gaming server fast.
Unfortunately, a lot of us, it's still 1 megabit up. That's all we get. I mean, we're only now starting to sort of see NBN where that's at much higher rates, but yet you've only got that very limited one, and it's very important. So that's great. Another question, if you don't mind. I know a lot of gamers tend to like to fiddle. You know what I mean? Like, so we overclock, but we also want to get inside of things that we're not supposed to, and we want to. Is there room for sort of the end user to be able to adjust and maybe say, hey, you know what? This is more important than this, or can they do those sorts of things?
Oh yeah, and that's what's the beauty of what the killer networking has on the PC side. You can get super granular on the killer control center on that PC, and all that settings that you're doing on that killer-enabled PC is all respected as it comes into the router. As it respects to the networking settings and whatnot, we made kind of 2 levels, because really in our research we found that gamers aren't network engineers.
No.
They want to level up. They want to get better at their gameplay, especially if they're moving into esports and competitive sense. They really focused on that, not having to figure out how to make their network work. So we make it so that the technology is somewhat autonomous. It's taking care of all that stuff. You just plug it in. It automatically detects the router. If you have the killer endpoint there, there's a new tab that lights up on the killer control center, which is really cool. It's kind of like a little unlock to be able to have the control over the router from the gaming PC. But in the PC, in the UI itself of the router, you can get in there and get down into some of the deeper network functions. We created kind of like, here's the core, and then here is the deep stuff if you really want to go dig in there and go deep. But again, because of knowing now with especially esports in the competitive sense, the focus now is really shifting on the gameplay and not working and let us handle all of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, and here in Australia, with our internet being as wonderful it is, we need every edge we can get. So, I mean, when are we likely to see this range of products available to consumers?
Well, that's what I'm here is we're actually launching this in Australia today. I think it is actually available for sale on the floor.
Okay.
Nice. Right now, I just saw a trolley of
awesome
WRT32X is hitting the floor ready for sale.
I mean, it's such a reliable brand too. I mean, LynkSys, you guys have been around for ever. Yeah, I mean, exactly, right? I mean, as I said, I've been PC gaming since the early 80s, and I mean, obviously, I don't recall LynkSys quite far that back, but I mean, you've always been there as long as we've had modems. One quick question, actually. Now that we are switching over to NBN, does is this a modem as well as a router, or is it just a router?
This is just a router.
Okay.
And you kind of think about from our standpoint, with the fluidity and what's going
makes sense.
on that side of things.
Yeah.
You know, we build amazing routers.
Yes.
And whatever's happening outside of that, you know, you can flip it out. If
Yes.
you know, I take it with the NVN router or whatever they supply, you can flip it into bridge mode and then
Yeah.
you know, let the router handle all of the routing.
Yes.
You know, all the DHCP serving and all that
Yeah.
that stuff that can happen at
Right.
the WRT itself, and then just put that thing into a dumb modem mode, and then go.
All right. So now it's time to go downstairs for me and open up the wallet. And then competitively price that out.
Absolutely, 449.
Oh, lovely. Okay. Thank you so much for your time today, Vince.
I really appreciate you coming up.
Thank you.